Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys very much for clicking on this video. Today we are taking a look at Tommy Fleetwood's golf swing. Tommy Fleetwood, incredible player, maybe hasn't performed as well at times, hasn't got as many wins as maybe he should have, but let's have a look at his golf swing. We've got iron, driver, front on, down the line, all slow motion, super high quality for you guys. So let's take a look. First of all, having a look at driver. By the way guys, if you're new to my channel, like this video, subscribe and comment your thoughts down below. I reply to all of your comments, I really appreciate it. And yeah, loads of really good content coming for you guys every day basically. So Tommy Fleetwood here, setup. Good setup position. Hips look to be just behind the ankles. Kind of a key thing in setup is you want your hips maybe slightly more over your ankles. Just gets you in a better position to pivot through your hips and pelvis. But everything else, good alignment. Tommy does like to hit kind of a high draw, I believe. So I've actually seen him swinging in person and he goes at the ball hard. He's not that tall, but he really goes at the ball very, very hard. So let's play it through. As we take the club back, I really like the takeaway. Big wide takeaway. If we pause it kind of parallel to the ground, club head, this is obviously driver, club head very, very far outside the hands, helping him keep more width. And look at his lower body, how he's already starting to pivot through his hips, through his legs and through his spine. It's a takeaway with the body, which is what we see with almost all of the best players in the world. They don't take the club away with the hands and arms, they take the club away with the body, and it's a big wide takeaway. As we take the club to the top, keeps the club on a beautiful plane going back, really nice. And if we pause it at the top, there's quite a few things to go through. It's quite a long swing this. If we pause it here at the top, okay, let's start our way from the ground up. Leg structure is really, really good. That's almost like goals for me personally. That leg movement is very good. Actually reminds me a bit of Tiger Woods as well in that lower body movement in the backswing. You can see loads and loads of pressure going through his right heel, really loaded into the ground, ready to build that power off the ground into the ball. A few other things we have to note here. Look at his right arm, pretty much at just less than 90 degrees, maybe 85 degrees or so. Really good right arm position, great arm structure in Tommy's swing. If we take a closer look, Tommy, again, we've been seeing this a lot recently. Tommy has a very strong left hand grip. You can tell that by if you look at the angle of the back of his left hand with the glove on it, and if you look at the angle of the club face, they do not match up. The club face is stronger than the angle of his wrist. He has a great arm structure, great arm position, just has a slightly strong left-hand grip. And that's important to know as we start to play this down. And as we start to play this down, really interesting move here by Tommy, and kind of one that there's a few things to really learn from for most of us, and a few things maybe I would not recommend doing. So as we play this down, the club is going to shallow a lot and the hands and arms are going to drop. They're going to get quite deep and in behind him, and that right elbow kind of moves back out in front. And the club comes really shallow from the inside, and if we pause it parallel to the ground here, you can see great position there. There's a few interesting things I want to point out to you guys in a second, but good position with the club here. Right heels come up off the ground. If you look at the position of Tommy's neck, he kind of has his head quite tilted to the right. That looks very uncomfortable to me. I would not recommend copying Tommy's spine angle in this golf swing, or especially in the downswing and the through swing. So as we play it, let's play it down into the ball. You can see he almost tilts his head more to the right as the club shallows and comes into impact. If we pause at impact, you can see how kind of his head is very, like his hips are open to the target, but he has a lot of right bend in the spine. It just looks kind of uncomfortable personally to me. Just looks very awkward, kind of a bit cramped for room maybe, and kind of really tilted to the right. It looks like that would for me put a lot of pressure through my spine wall for anyone. As Tommy plays it through, He releases that club really nicely, arms extending. And if we pause it again, just after impact here, look at that spine angle. That is there's so much, not even right bend. It's kind of almost like you're doing like an abdominal crunch to the right kind of thing. It's, yeah, I would not recommend copying Tommy's spine angle at all. It would be interesting to see if I don't know if he has any injuries, if he struggled with back pain or anything, or if he will in future. But I'm sure he'll be doing a ton of physio work as well. And if we take it through, he does come through to a nice balanced finish and hits that beautiful high, kind of straight-ish draw. And let's just play this through a few times for you guys. You guys can just take a look at this swing. The move, I love the takeaway. I love the backswing. Even the top of the backswing position is great. The lower body's great. The move I'm not 100% a fan on is the spine angle through the ball. And if you watch this from the top, it's a little bit like old school Tiger-esque in how much like height he kind of loses. The head it's a very weird head movement. It just looks incredibly uncomfortable to me personally. But Tommy is a really nice guy, great golfer and great golf swing. Now let's take a look at an iron swing, guys. This is actually from the US Open. Really good look at Tommy's swing here, perfectly down the line. And setup here is good. What I mentioned about Tommy's spine angle, if you look at his upper spine here, it is quite rounded. This appears to just be kind of, the shape of Tommy's body, but he is quite rounded in that upper spine. Also at address here, a lot of knee bend, sitting back quite a lot. He almost looks like he's about to sit down kind of thing. And as we take the club back, if we pause it parallel to the ground, really good position that, really like that position. Club head outside the hands, club face matching his spine angle, and pivoting through the lower body and the shoulders really nicely. As he takes it to the top, those arms are going to work up, keeps a good amount of width. If we pause it at the top, the right arm, again, we're noticing a lot of the same things. Right arm just less than 90 degrees, but great position. Hands kind of just above his shoulder plane, just above. Again, you can see that grip, that left hand grip is strong, and lower body position's great again. As we play this down, we're going to notice same sort of thing. Watch how much height he kind of loses and dips into the ball as he shallows this club. Really, the club works on a great plane as he comes down. If we pause it parallel to the ground, it's interesting how low his hands are here, how low the club is to the ground at this position, how low his hands are. And already his hips are open to the target, but he's really working hard. He keeps that right hand, you can see in this position, keeps that right hand on top to keep that club face square. And as we play it into impact, great impact position. Again, I'm just personally not a massive fan of the spine angle because he has so much. You can see by the wrinkles in Tommy's jumper how much kind of bend he has in the spine. That's always a good way to kind of see what your posture is like, or any sort of movement is. If you have wrinkles, that if I tilt to the right, that's going to wrinkle my shirt to the right, and vice versa to the left. So if you have really good posture, your shirt shouldn't have too many wrinkles in it when you're coming through impact. Kind of just a little quick tip there for you guys. And as we play this through, extends the arms down the line really nicely. Again, a lot of bend to the right in the golf swing, but really nice balanced finish. And Tommy, obviously, he does grip down. If we play this back a few times, he has a tendency to really grip down with almost every club, and kind of almost, it looks like he's hitting kind of like a half swing, or like almost like a punch shot. That's just how he swings the golf club. It just enables him to keep a bit more control on it, and maybe not let the face roll over so much, keep the hands a little bit ahead for longer possibly, and get maybe a bit more compression as well onto the ball. Now we're going to have a look at a driver swing from the US Open, then we're going to have a look at Tommy's golf swing from front on. Now this is a really good look at Tommy with driver, and if we slowly play this back, I love so many things about this swing, but if we slowly play this back and pause it parallel to the ground, that is a really good takeaway position. The club head outside the hands. I love how square the club head is, the face of the club matching his spine angle. And as we play this to the top, club comes back on a really nice play. And it gets the club at the top is pretty much perfectly down the line. Almost perfectly down the line, I would say. Not really laid off, not really across the line. Again, from this position, we can see that strong left-hand grip. Great arm structure. All pretty much 90-degree bend in the right arm. Great legs, leg structure and pushing into the ground. As Tommy comes down, he's going to squat into the ground. And then he has that kind of unique little dip with the head as the club shallows. And if we pause it parallel to the ground, it's a great position to look at here because you can see Tommy's left wrist pointing to the right, but the club face is pointing more down to the ball. Again, good indication he has a strong left-hand grip. And also great angle with the club face, pretty much matching his spine angle. And as we come through to impact, he releases those hands. And if we pause at impact, again, I love the impact position with everything except for the spine angle, personally, for me. Also, the right heel has come up off the ground quite a lot, but Tommy hasn't early extended at all. And as we play this through, goes really hard at the ball, releasing the arms and hands up. And then that nice balanced finish, extending that spine. Let's play this back a few times for you guys. It's an interesting thing. We've taken a look at like Justin Thomas, Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, and obviously now Tommy Fleetwood. All of these guys are quite small guys, but hit the ball quite a long way, and they have to, in order to do that, they have to go harder at the golf ball. And I think, and they all kind of have similarities in their right heels lifting off the ground quite early, maybe not as good posture through the ball, quite a lot of bend to the right in the spine. It will be really interesting to see, you know, if these guys maybe struggle with back injuries all through their careers or anything like that. And I mean, nowadays players do a lot of work in the gym and work with their physios every day to kind of try and correct these movements or any injuries they have. So they are a lot smarter at looking after themselves, but there's only so much the body can take. So, you know, it'd just be interesting to see. But now let's take a look at Tommy Fleetwood iron from front on. This is a really good look at Tommy hitting iron, again at the US Open. Tommy, again, if we have a look at his setup, it looks like a fairly long iron to me, based on the length of the club, and also Tommy's feet are quite wide. So that is the first thing I noticed. Tommy's feet are quite wide, but everything else looks fairly neutral. His left shoulder is a lot higher than the right. I mean, your left shoulder is always going to be higher because you put your right hand under your left on the grip. But Tommy's left shoulder is a lot higher than his right. As we play the club back, big wide takeaway, really like that. Stays pretty central, no movement off the ball, no real lateral movement, more just pivoting into that right hip. If we pause it at the top of the backswing, we can see great position there. Stayed very central with the hips. He has loaded into the right side, but stayed very central. I really like that position. Big shoulder turn as well, and keeping those knees pointed towards us. And, you know, again, just maybe about 90 degrees of angle in the wrist, maybe a tiny bit more. It's a bit hard to see from this position, but as we play this down, Tommy is going to squat and he's going to shift more weight laterally onto his left side, but watch his head movement. It just tilts to the right, kind of moves down a bit, and as we pause it, let's pause it parallel to the ground. I mean, does it look like a comfortable position to you? Because to me it really, really doesn't. But if we play it down into the ball, he actually does release the head. If we pause at impact, he has kind of released the head. So he's kind of tilted to the right, but look to the left. He has released the head a bit with the body. Yeah, I just look so uncomfortable. I'd love to know if he has any neck issues or anything like that, because it really just sends shivers up my spine. But look at this position, weight going into his left foot, driving through the golf ball. hands ahead, all great things to see. And as we play it through, Tommy's going to release the hands and arms, but he doesn't let the club really flip over, just releases, extends the arms through the ball as he comes through to that balanced finish. Let's just play this once or twice for you guys. You guys can watch this a few times, and it is a great swing. I love a lot of things about Tommy's swing, and there are a lot of things to learn, like his lower body and a few other things which I'll tell you in a second, but there's a few things which I definitely wouldn't recommend copying. We'll just have one more look at Tommy's golf swing, and I'll just play this driver swing through a few times for you because it's a great look at Tommy's swing, and we're going to see pretty much the same sort of things. As Tommy takes the club back, big wide takeaway, that face stays so square, which I absolutely love as he gets to the top. Look how straight that right arm is, not a huge amount of bend in it, and then as he comes down, shallows that club, that right head tilt thing with the spine and neck, and then extends through the ball. Let's just play this back another few times. I just love, if you look at Tommy's lower body movement, I love the way his lower body works. He uses the ground really, really well. You can see him in the backswing really load into the right side, into the right hip, then in transition really squats into the ground as he comes into impact, pushes back up off the ground and extends, which is, I mean, it's really good. So yeah, that is Tommy Fleetwood's golf swing, and what should you learn from that? What should you copy, what shouldn't you copy? First thing, copy the lower body movement. It's really, really good. I'd recommend at setup maybe having your hips slightly more over your ankles, but he uses his lower body, his legs, his hips and everything like that really, really well, loads into the ground. And when we had a look at that front on swing, we could see as well that he stays really central into the ball, no real lateral movement, which again I really like to see. Maybe some things not to copy, definitely don't copy the neck movement, the head and neck movement. You know, no coach is going to teach you that, or no coach should ever teach you that. This is clearly something that's unique to Tommy, something that maybe he's always done, maybe that's just the way, you know, he moves his body and is clearly used to it. I mean, he's still playing golf, he's not injured or anything, so and a few other things, you know, the club works really, really nicely. I love the plane he keeps it on, the backswing and the downswing, really, really nicely. He doesn't early extend or anything into the ball. His right heel does come up off the ground quite early, but it's just kind of a little bit of a trade-off, I think, with these guys having to go so hard at the ball, because distance is such a big thing nowadays in professional golf, and they have to, for these guys who aren't, you know, huge, like a Wilco Nienarber or Bryson DeChambeau, you know, they have to generate that power sometimes, and that just means going harder at the ball, which is a little bit of a compensation for maybe losing your spine angle, losing your posture a little bit, and that right heel coming up off the ground very early. But Tommy's a great player. Comment down below what you think about Tommy Fleetwood's golf swing. Comment if you think I've missed anything. I reply to all of your comments. Comment who you want me to take a look at next, and also comment if you think Tommy will one, win any golf tournaments anytime soon, and two, win a major championship. He's come pretty close before, but he doesn't seem to be able to get across the line, so it will be interesting to see. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, give it a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, guys, grip it and rip it.